Happy Halloween, everyone. It is October 31st, 2024. What better way to celebrate Halloween with a little Halloween video? And for me, I was just thinking about scary records, mostly when I was a kid, covers mostly, but sometimes the content. They used to just really scare me or definitely made me kind of question whether I wanted to pick them up. You're looking at number five. I've got five records and I've got one very important honorable mention, so make sure to stick with me until we get to the very end here. But this is Black Sabbath's fifth record, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. I don't know why. I just did a thumbs up on the video. Okay, no more gestures, hand gestures, because apparently Apple likes to put emojis on. Anyway, I'm saying thumbs up to this record. It is a pretty good record, but if you look at the cover, it's like, oh, demonic. This, 666 is on it. Somebody's dying, and there's this like evil, like the devil's over him, and it looks very, very evil. Now, the ironic thing is, if you flip the record over, it's like the complete opposite. It's like blue, and it looks like there's angels around this guy. But if you're buying cassettes in the 80s, you don't see the back. I mean, the cassettes were awful for art, right? I mean, I remember Warner Brothers would have like a little tiny picture of like this cover, and then it was like in a, mostly black. It was just like a little cutout, and nothing on the inside other than the track listings and the names of the songs and the tape. That's it. So you never saw, the back of it. You never saw any kind of quotes or anything else with the packaging here. But yeah, funny story on this one. My friend in high school, one of my friends was, they went to a very, very conservative, strict church. And he was listening to all kinds of metal stuff, more metal than I ever was. And he had a bunch of Sabbath records. I might have told the story before, but it's a good one. He one day his dad took, I think it was this album cover, he saw this album cover in his room, took all of his cassettes and had a like Black Sabbath smashing party in the garage with a sledgehammer, and I think he was like Demon Be Gone and like smashing them all to smithereens. I'm sure my friend bought them all, probably upgraded a CD shortly after. It never stopped him from listening to music. But yeah, kind of a good story on that. And yeah, yeah, it's kind of scary. I don't know. I didn't buy it when I was a kid. All right, this one's kind of an honorable mention. It's just gross. It's scary in that it's just gross. I remember this is Music from the Body. It's Roger Waters and Ron Geeson. Kind of a Pink Floyd spin-off project in the early 70s. But it's just, you put it on, it's a sound of people farting. Yeah, it's gross, and it's just kind of, I don't know, it's kind of scary that they just thought it would be a good idea to put out this record. And I know it gets a little bit better, but honestly, I've never gotten past the farting. So there's that. I think I paid good money for it too. All right, number three. Oh, good stories on this one. If you've watched my other videos, I know I shared some of them. I'll go on and repeat it because I think these are good stories, and not everybody watches everything I produce. I know they don't. This is Motley Crue, Shout the Devil. This is their second record. This is the one that broke them. This is the one that scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. The stories of Motley Crue's behavior on the road were like relayed. We're like in fifth grade, and we're hearing all this just gross shit that they did to women that I don't even want to repeat, that I had a real hard time wrapping my head around as a kid, especially. But then, you open it up and they're looking all evil, and I don't want to reveal too much of what's behind it, but yeah, they're all in flames, and their song in here, the first song in the beginning, used to scare the shit out of me. And then there's a song called Bastard, and Knock 'Em Dead Kid. I don't know. It's one of those records that really kind of captured the imagination for me. I got freaked out when I saw Barbara Walters' Hugh Downs 2020 episode on backward masking, and I didn't have MTV at the time, and they're showing some of these videos of like the pentagram, like I think it was Looks at Kill, kind of going off, and visual kind of coming towards you, and I got so freaked out. I tore this record, like broke it in half, threw it in the trash, and like tore up the cover. I had the record. I had the final record. Since bought it used. It's my favorite Motley Crue. Actually, no, I think Too Fast for Love is probably my favorite Motley Crue record. I don't really continue with Motley Crue after these two records, but I always have a soft space for Shout at the Devil, and I know these stories among people like my age are very common. I've actually heard Nikki Sixx talk about it, how kids perceived him of a certain age when perceived them when they came on the scene in 1983. So there's that one. Number 2, we have Iron Maiden, Live After Death. Iron Maiden, a lot of these metal bands, they like seem really scary until you actually get into them, and then you're like, oh, I get it. There's Satanism and death and demons was all like the rage in the mid 80s, and this one was no exception. I mean, Eddie's on every single one of their covers. Just a Halloween footnote. Can you buy Iron Maiden merchandise, like masks? I really want to go as Eddie for Halloween sometime. And I always think of it and it's too late, and I don't go to the right Halloween store. I never see it. I think I looked once online. But anyway, this is their live album from 1985, Live After Death. One of the best, I think, for sure one of the best metal live records. But it's the first one I picked up. And, it looks kind of scary on the cover and everything. I don't think I was scared of it though, honestly, but you could see why. You could see why you could be. There's H.P. Lovecraft quote on it and all that. But once you get into the music, you're like, wow, these guys are pretty intelligent, and these lyrics are actually a cut above what you get on most metal records. But certainly one that would scare the parents. So coming out of the grave, Iron Maiden, Live After Death, Eddie resurrected. Just such a great title, Live After Death, and then the cover and all that. Anyway, kind of Spinal Tap-ish, but done so well. They're so smart with their branding. The logo always consistent. Eddie on every single cover. Genius. Number 1. These are really not ranked in any particular order, honestly. But this one I had to borrow from my girlfriend because I used to have another one of their records I was going to show. And a lot of the records I had as a kid, I swear I moved them around. I swear I saw them recently, but I can't find them. I don't know. I don't know where they were. If they got shoved somewhere, and I'll find them next time I move. I don't know. But number one in this not necessary ranking is a Dio record. The one I was going to show is Last in Line, the one I had as a kid. But you just look at that demon. I mean, it's Dream Evil. The girl's sleeping, and there's that demon, real sinister, like hellhound behind her in her window. I mean, that's got to scare some people. Dio was kind of scary. He seemed like he was like a little midget with I shouldn't say midget, little person with a major chip on his shoulder who was, I don't know, I kind of believed it coming from him. He really was into all this stuff. I never got into Dio. I don't really like Dio, and I apologize, people. I think he's a fine singer. I think he's actually a pretty good singer. I just don't like that kind of metal singer, and I like my Black Sabbath with Ozzy. Honorable mention. There's an honorable mention that is not very honorable, not honorable in the least, but this honorable mention is perfect for Halloween because this honorable mention scares the shit out of me and should scare the shit out of everybody. This is where I get political. Democracy dies in darkness. It does. You need to expose this shit to light. Okay, everybody's sick of the election. I'm just going to say my piece. Donald Trump scares the hell out of me. Please don't vote for Donald Trump. Here's, in a nutshell, what I think will happen if Donald Trump is elected president. Okay. Editing a lot of stuff out. Let me just say a few words. He's a danger to democracy. Half of his cabinet have said that. He's a fascist. A lot of people have said that. All you have to do is listen to what the guy says. He wants absolute control. If you disagree with him, you are a sucker, you're a loser, you're a lowlife, you're dead to him, and his followers sometimes will come after you, will harass you. He only wants loyalists in the White House. He only wants loyalists in civil service jobs. He wants to replace all those with people that are allegiant to him instead of the Constitution. He wanted to stay in power on January 6th. He didn't care what the Constitution says. In fact, he said he might suspend the Constitution. I live in a big city. I've lived in a few of them during Trump's presidency. He would consistently say, and even afterwards, he would consistently say things were happening here that weren't. He would blow everything completely out of proportion. He wants to turn the military against his own people. He is so consumed with hate. I mean, everything comes out of his mouth is hate. Hate against one type of people over another, and certainly anybody that dares to ever disagree with him. The other thing that scares me to death and keeps me up at night is he has complete unchecked power, unlike any other president in history, ever in history. No Supreme Court has ever said that a president is immune from prosecution for the crimes they do while in office, but they did that for Donald Trump. And it's still on the books. Trump can do whatever he wants, and the only people that can stop him are Congress if they decide to impeach him. He can't be tried criminally. Do you have any idea what that guy might be capable of? He's friends with dictators. I worry that he's got some sort of alliance with Putin and Kim Jong Un. I mean, he talks about him. They're his lovers or his friends. He sent COVID tests to Putin. This is just so beyond the pale of what a politician should be doing that's running for president. And I mean, he scared the hell out of me in 2016. I was really glad he lost in 2020, but I'm absolutely horrified of what he could do in 2024. And I don't know that the United States would recover at that point. So please, 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 let's get rid of the boogeyman. Let's do something on November 5th and send him packing and send a message to him. You know, the best news for Republicans too, he goes away. He's 78 years old. You really think that if he loses this one, he's going to come back and have any kind of support again? I really doubt it. Really doubt it. You know, what, are they going to rally behind him as a four-time loser or something? I mean, he lost in 2020, midterms in 2022. You know, he's going to lose again this time. So that's the best news. He goes away. We can get on with being kind of somewhat normal. I'm not saying our problems are going to go away. Far from it. But my God, if he wins, it is going to get so ugly. I'm scared. I'm scared what's going to happen in the next few days and what's going to happen if it's at all close, because he's laying the groundwork already, saying that the election is rigged and making shit up, and he lies constantly. Democracy dies in darkness. I have issues with Washington Post not endorsing Kamala, but I think the journalists there are really good. And I do believe that democracy does die in darkness if you don't look at the actual issues and what the politicians are actually saying, and you just go with sound bites and what you heard. Please don't do that. Please do your research if you're at all thinking about voting for Donald Trump, or if you're staying home, and get out and vote for Kamala. It's a step in the right direction. It's a step to save democracy. Do we really want to not make it to 250 years of democracy as a country? Come on, come on. We can do better than that. So that's what scares the shit out of me. That is my most awful record I can think of. It's Donald Trump's.